So my name will be JSY. And as far as these points go, this is the tricky part because intelligence isn't the same as it used to be. But I still don't care. I'm still gonna put it up to 10. And some of it seems to be identical right there. And then I'll probably go. Actually, no, I'll probably put it to like 8. And I'll put strength 5. Put perception 5. Endurance. Let's say charisma 5. Agility and luck. Alright. Agility. Yeah. Alright, how's that?
Wonderful. That's everything. Just gonna walk this over to the vault. Congratulations on being prepared for...
Thanks again.
Hey, it's peace of mind. That's worth a little paperwork, right?
For you and Sean, no price is too high.
Good answer.
I have my moments.
Sir, Sean has been changed, but he absolutely refuses to calm down. I think he needs some of that paternal affection. See what he's so good at.
You heard Codsworth. Go on. How are the two most important men in my life doing? Spin the mobile a bit. He loves that. Hey, how's my little guy? Much better now, huh? Listen, after breakfast, I was thinking we could head to the park for a bit. Weather should hold up.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Sir, Mum, you should come and see this.
Codsworth, what's wrong?
Wonder what Sean will grow up to be.
Followed by flashes, blinding flashes, sounds of explosions. We're trying to get confirmation. We seem to have lost contact with our affiliate stations. We do have coming in. That's confirmed reports. I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pensacola.
Oh my god.
We need to get to the vault now.
I've got Sean. Let's go.
Residents of Sanctuary Hills, if you are registered, evacuate to Vault 111 immediately.
All participants, check in at the gate. That's absurd. I am on the
You don't get in.
I'm going in. Get Sean. Okay. I'm reporting this. If you're in the program, step.
We need to get in. We're on the list.
Infant, adult male, adult female. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Get moving.
You two, follow me. Come on.
What's gonna happen to all those people
We're
outside the
doing
gate?
everything we can. Now keep moving. This way! In the center!
Almost there. We're gonna be okay. I love you. Both
We
of you.
love you too.
Oh my god!
Hold on!
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god!
We did it. We made it. We're okay.
Everyone, please step off the elevator and proceed up the stairs in an orderly fashion.
No need to worry, folks. We'll get everyone situated in your new home. Vault 111. A better future underground.
Just...
Yes, up the stairs.
I can't believe it. If we left a minute later...
No,
We
don't
don't
get caught up thinking about that. You're safe now. Everyone, just head up these stairs and through the door there.
This way.
Male, female, and infant.
This way, please.
Hey, hello there. Once we seal the vault, we'll all begin to know each other this way. Sure.
There you are.
Pick
Head
up
down
a
the
suit
hall.
right over there.
You'll need your suits before we can take you further.
Thanks. What now?
Just follow the doctor here. He'll show you where to go.
All right, you three. Follow me.
See? This is our new home.
Oh, you're gonna love it here. This is one of our most advanced facilities. Not that the others aren't great, mind you. It's gone. Our home. Everything we had.
My mother and father down in D.C.
How long do you think we'll be down here?
Oh, we'll be going over all that in orientation. Just a few medical items we have to get through first.
Prepared for the future, right?
Just step in here and put your vault suit on.
Shh. It'll be okay. Daddy's right here. See? Honey,
Who's my little guy? I'm not going far. I'll just be over there.
There he is. See? Daddy's not going far.
All set? Just step inside and put on your pulse. The pod will decontaminate and depressurize you before we head deeper in the vault. Just relax.
Time for a whole new life.
Resident secure. Occupant vitals normal. Procedure complete. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Manual override initiated. Cryogenic state. Suspend.
roaches? What the hell? What happened here? Where is everyone? Is this all that's left? Terminal's got this locked. Nice. Coming back later for you.
Trying to figure out how I access the Pip-Boy, but I'm not sure if you got the Pip-Boy yet. Alright, controls. Let's see. Pip-Boy B. That's what I figured. It's not working.
Is anyone alive? Did anyone get out?
You could spend like almost your whole entire life on this game alone right here. All right. I'm done with that for a while. Oh man, what time is it? Midnight exactly. Holy mackerel. I know, I can hear you. Oh, I want you to play some more. Oh, okay. I'll put that away for a couple minutes.
cross-country chassis of agricultural tractors with large dented wheels, such as the Obra-Gabe Fortress. The vehicle was powered by electricity, complete with supply cable, and armed with a 37mm Navy cannon, but it too proved impractical. At the same time, the French arms manufacturer Schneider began experiments using a Holt tractor as a base.
Be right back
At the
in a
end
few
of
minutes.
January 1916, an order for 400 Schneider CA-1 tanks was placed, although problems with meeting production schedules meant that the first deliveries were delayed until September 1916. And so it was the British who were the first to send tanks into battle on September the 15th, 1916, at Flers-Courcelette as part of the wider Somme offensive. 49 were committed, of which 32 were mechanically fit to take part in the advance and achieved some small local successes. Although the first French designs were produced in large numbers, both suffered consistently high losses. In 1918, the Renault FT light tank was the first tank in history with a modern configuration, a revolving turret on top and an engine compartment at the rear. It would be the most numerous tank of the war. The German response was to develop its own armoured programme. Soon the massive A7V appeared. The A7V was a clumsy monster, weighing 30 tons and with a crew of 18. By the end of the war, only 20 had been built. Although other tanks were on the drawing board, material shortages limited the German tank corps to these A7Vs, and about 36 captured Mark IVs. The A7V would be involved in the first tank versus tank battle of the war on April the 24th, 1918, at the Second Battle of Villers-Bretonneux, a battle in which there was no clear winner. Numerous mechanical failures and the inability of the British and French to mount any sustained drives in the early tank actions cast doubts on their usefulness, and by 1918 tanks were extremely vulnerable unless accompanied by infantry and ground attack aircraft, both of which worked to locate and suppress anti-tank defences. But General John J. Pershing, Commander-in-Chief of the American Expeditionary Force, requested in September 1917 that 600 heavy and 1,200 light tanks be produced in the United States. When General Pershing assumed command of the American Expeditionary Force and went to France, he took Lieutenant Colonel George Patton. Patton became interested in tanks and chose to go into the newly formed US Tank Corps, becoming the first officer so assigned. Although the tank of World War I was slow, clumsy, unwieldy, difficult to control, and mechanically unreliable, its value as a combat weapon had been clearly proven. But despite the lessons of World War I, the combat arms were most reluctant to accept a separate and independent role for armour and continued to struggle among themselves over the proper use of tanks. At the war's end, the main role of the tank was considered to be that of close support for the infantry. During the Second World War, the first conflict in which armoured vehicles were critical to battlefield success, the tank and related tactics developed rapidly. Armoured forces proved capable of tactical victory in a short amount of time. Heinz Guderian, a German tactical theoretician who was heavily involved in the formation of the first independent German tank force, said, "Where tanks are, the front is." And this concept became a reality in World War II. Guderian initially envisaged an armoured corps or Panzer Corps in which armour, highly mobile infantry and air support were combined. But following the Treaty of Versailles, Germany's army was restricted to no more than 100,000 men, and it was forbidden to have any armoured vehicles. Following the rise to power of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis during the 1930s, Germany began to rearm, albeit in great secrecy. The limitations of the Versailles Treaty meant that the first Panzerkampfwagen, or Panzer for short, had to be developed under the guise of farm equipment. Thus, the first Panzer I that appeared in 1934 was designed primarily for training the fledgling Panzer Corps. At 5.4 tons, it was light and its armour was no thicker than 13mm. Its main weapon was two 7.92 machine guns. However, it only needed a crew of two, a driver and commander, who also operated the guns. Although initially intended as a stopgap, the Panzer II was to become the most numerous German tank in the early years of the war. The Panzer II entered service in 1935 and featured a 20mm gun mounted in the turret as its main armament. It weighed 8.9 tons and was operated by a crew of three, a driver, loader and commander. Armour was 13mm at its thickest on the sloped front, sides and rear, although the later Mark D had its frontal armour increased to 30mm. Both Panzer I's and II's saw service in the Spanish Civil War as part of the Condor Legion. As well as gaining valuable combat experience, a number of lessons were learned about equipment. Although the tanks could withstand machine gun fire, they were vulnerable to shell fire. The Panzer III was a medium tank designed to engage and destroy enemy tanks and was intended as the main tank of the Panzer divisions. Its key feature was its three-man turret, which enabled the commander to concentrate on battle awareness and not get distracted by what the gunner or loader were doing. As well as commander, gunner, loader, there was a driver and radio operator who also operated the forward machine gun mounted in the bow. The Panzer III's main armament was, at first, a 37mm gun, although this was upgraded to a 50mm gun and then a 75mm weapon following experience in the Russian campaign. When up against the Soviets' T-34, it was clear that there was the need for a larger, more powerful gun. This led to the Panzer III swapping roles with the Panzer IV and being redesignated in the infantry support role. The Panzer IV also entered service in 1939 as an infantry support tank, but it found itself filling the role of tank fighter during the Russian campaign. Robust and reliable, it saw service in all combat theatres involving Germany, and has the distinction of being the only German tank to remain in continuous production throughout the war, with over 8,800 produced between 1936 and 1945. During the 1930s, France became one of the world's largest manufacturers of tanks, and by the beginning of the Second World War had a tank force equal to, if not greater than that of Germany. However, in French eyes, the tank was viewed as another weapon system whose role was to assist the infantry in its forward progress. As a result, the need for speed was considered less important than heavy armour and weapons. The Renault FT-17, which first saw service in the First World War, had a long life and saw use in World War II and even later in Indochina. France continued to export the FT-17 right up to the Second World War. By the mid-1930s, the French army was replacing the ageing FT-17 fleet with a mixed force of light tanks, both in the infantry and cavalry branches, as well as medium and heavy tanks. The infantry light tanks included the Renault R35, which followed the FT-17 concept quite closely, with its very small size, two-man crew, and a short 37mm gun. It was, however, heavily armoured. The R35 was mostly used to equip an armoured reserve, intended to reinforce infantry divisions in breakthrough operations. France also produced what may have been the best tank of the 1930s, the Saumur S-35. The S-35 had a long 47mm gun that could kill any tank then in service, as well as heavy cast armour, as well as good speed. The Shah B was a very formidable tank, with heavy cast and riveted armour. Unlike other French tanks, all Shah Bs were equipped with radios, and as the Germans were to discover during the Battle of France, the Shah B was nearly invulnerable to other tanks. The most produced tank of the 1930s was the Russian T-26, which owes its origin to the British-built Vickers 6-ton light tank. Although less sophisticated than some of its later contemporaries, the T-26 was well balanced, relatively modern and cheap to produce, which meant it was well suited for mass production. By the time war broke out in September 1939, an astonishing 10,000 units had been built. Even on its own, the T-26 made the Red Army the biggest armoured force in the world. When Germany invaded Russia in the summer of 1941, Red Army tanks outnumbered the Germans by 4-1. The Panzers may have had more modern tanks and were